day in the office. The funny thing is I don't want to train today. And there's a switch that gets turned on that won't be turned off for a little bit. But it's the days that I do this, I get to be balanced and like healthy and happy.
In my family, mostly
Oh, okay, yeah.
mostly is all
They're players,
is a players of martial arts.
martial arts.
His father was himself as a black belt martial artist. Maybe he was influenced his father.
I find out growing up that my dad was actually into karate back when he was in the Philippines. And just knowing that that was in my DNA and learning more about the De Jesus family tree is that like martial arts has been a part of our genes.
Starting from grandparents is already playing judo, and then my uncle, my dad, 8 brothers is already playing martial arts. That's why I grow up in the for that kinds of environment. That's why I grow up also doing like that. That's why if I have kids, that's the one I plan.
Yeah,
You
with
put
the
in martial arts all my kids.
I used to be taken to Chuck E. Cheese all the time as a kid. There was this one kid, I just remember like getting pushed around and punched, and I just froze. Like I didn't know what to do, and I felt very like trapped in my own body.
I know you cry, but you just keep yourself that because dad is saying to you, I don't like fight, I don't like doing something. That's why you just crying and that's it. Don't mind that one.
And then one time when we went there in the building here in Jonkos Taekwondo, we're not going there, but we're going somewhere in a doctor's office. And then when we're going home, you went there and we saw that you like it, and that's why daddy said, oh, maybe like we should inquire and ask about the taekwondo for you.
I feel like him as a father was just, there are places that I can't protect my child, and I have to prepare him for the future where I can't be there for him. And he took me to Junko Taekwondo as a young, around 4 or 5 years old.
So I remember him very clearly because he was very young. I believe at 5, 6 years old. So he was very disciplined and very focused and very hard training student. Actually, very. I was very pleasant to see him actually training so hard and so focused. He was a very good kid.
Go! 2! Go!
With much more time and experience, I eventually got my black belt. I was heading into high school. I kind of drifted away from martial arts. I wanted to focus more on my social life because I felt like because of martial arts at the time, growing up as a kid, made me a lot more different. I wanted to connect more by playing basketball, and I cared about my appearance, you know, what shoes I wore every day, the clothes I wore, the friends, the girls, all these different things, and so I stopped.
During your high school days, sometimes you're hard-headed, you know, like you think you know everything. Yeah, sometimes we're talking to you, you get upset easily. You know, that's what we noticed you when you were in high school.
As soon as I drifted away from martial arts, my grades steadily declined. I didn't want to be around my parents as often. I didn't want to hang out around my family in general as often. I wanted to be more with my friends and hang out with all these other people. And it led me down a whole different path but it definitely led me down there for a reason.
I'm sorry.
I was caught in a lot of teenage drama that affected my life, and I didn't know how to process any of that. The only way that I handled that was being alone. Where my mental space was at the time, being alone was the worst thing that would ever happen to me.
Even daddy knows already what's going on, but I want you to know what is life. That is a part of your life. Sometimes you have problems, sometimes that is the one step by step you can learn in your life how to handle yourself.
And what I needed to actually do was just find myself again. My dad always says, he's like, hopefully one day you'll wake up. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm here, I'm present, I'm good. I didn't know what that meant until I pursued film in high school, until I pursued going back into martial arts.
When you mentioned it to me, when I recall it back now, I started to see a little bit of like hints of doubt here and there when I think about it. I couldn't really notice it. It's very specific because he hit it well, I have to admit. Honestly, I didn't see it in him because when he fought and when he did what he had to do, what he liked doing, he did it with a passion that I didn't see in people like for a very long time. I'm happy to see how much he's really become like what he wants to be. He's not letting people get in his way to obstruct him from the path that he wants to take. He wants to go where he wants to go. He follows his passion, and that's where you are now.
When you think of martial arts, you think of fighting physically. You think of fighting another person. You think of all these different things that you would actually physically hit. But coming back into martial arts, I was actually battling something that was in here and something that was in here. I didn't know that martial arts could do that for me. I didn't know how drastic of an impact that martial arts has helped me fight things in my heart, fight things in my mind. It became like therapy to me. And coming back into martial arts and fitness, I slowly found myself again. The muscles, the flexibility was back, the speed was back. Everything just came back so naturally. I came in a kid that was scared and lost and didn't love himself into now teaching kids how to be the best versions of themselves. And I think that's like the most beautiful thing from my martial arts journey is to like have that come full circle. And like it was definitely a much needed change in my life that has affected the whole course of my life and from now until forever.